Andre Onana. I think this is a long time coming conversation.
Ah,
We always said that, I know in the beginning, yeah, we were talking about him here and there, criticizing him heavily,
ah,
etc., etc.
ah,
But they got to a time when we just put the brakes on, and we're like, you know what? We'll give you a chance, do what you need to do, and we'll come assess you later.
yeah.
You know, and even though we should wait a bit longer, I think rightfully so. I think he deserves to get some praise now before the end of the season because I think he's been a huge part to a lot of the games that we have won. I think that he's getting
And it's
better.
not
Like you mentioned before.
it's not at fault of the
Yeah,
games that
like
we
you mentioned
lost.
before. Yeah, and like you mentioned before we even started um this episode that he's finding his rhythm. You know, his journey is unfolding. And when you look back at the season, how he started and how he's playing now, he's really it's a journey. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And personally, I think I don't know if I don't know if this boils down to him individually or the managers and the coaches who are working with
yeah,
him, but I think he has now got to a point where he has struck a perfect balance between this thing of he likes doing of coming out as the fifth defender, and this thing of him being a goalkeeper.
mm,
Because in the beginning, it's like he was never in his
yeah,
goalpost. Players were just chipping goals over him for
yeah.
fun. You understand? He was, trying to play as this outfield
Oh,
player.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? And it was just like, guy, we get that you're a good on-field player. We get it.
Man,
But you need to be a
yeah.
goalkeeper, fam. You know what I
That's
mean?
your
You're
job.
a
That's your
goalkeeper.
primary job.
That's your job. You get what I'm saying? And then that sort of like became more of his role. And he was just doing more of the goalkeeping stuff, you know? And then yeah, that's sort of like I don't know how that came and went, but now I've got this like perfect balance of him coming out and him staying in the
Mm.
goalpost. So it's like it's being refined and it's getting better every game after game after game after game. He's stopping balls more often. He's coming out when he needs to come out. He's staying when he needs to stay. You don't just randomly always just find him not in his goalpost. I think he has now got that point where he has struck that perfect, medium. And now it's just the other smaller things that he needs to work on because let's face it, we can never have a perfect goalkeeper. We can never have a perfect player. De Gea wasn't perfect. You know what I mean? He's had to develop his game later on. And I'll still continue saying this, you know, that the reason why I don't want to compare Onana now and De Gea is because, Onana has come in as a more of an established goalkeeper than what De Gea
Yes,
came in. And even when you look at their
yes.
ages in which they came in at taking this mantle, and you could argue that for De Gea, it was much more difficult
Right.
because at that
He was a
time,
kid,
United was still winning
and he
titles.
was.
You know what I mean? Whereas now, exactly, and he was a kid. Whereas now we're in this rebuild stage. So I believe the pressure was much more on De Gea. When you look at the keepers that came even before him, it was crazy. So yeah, man, Onana, like I said, getting better. You can definitely see the improvements in his game. You also mentioned before we started this that he's actually considered less goals than Spurs and is it Everton, than Martinez and
Uh, no,
um
we have
who's the other
considered,
one?
as United, we've considered less than
Yeah,
Spurs and Aston Villa.
oh, we've considered less
Yeah.
goals. Yeah, so obviously they have scored more goals, but we've considered less, and obviously that's thanks to our goalkeeper who's stopping the goals from going in. Because let's face it, we haven't had a very strong defense this season.
Yes.
So yeah, man. Onana, all I can say is, keep up the good work.
Yeah.
We're starting to see you. You know what I mean? And
We're starting to appreciate you more. Like, hey,
um,
man.
I was trying to appreciate you
Yeah.
more. It was going to be tough. It was always going to be tough. I mean, you're competing against David. You know what I mean? That ball stuck to his glove like glue.
Man.
You
Ah,
know, it reminds me of and David. David reminds me of this new meme that's going around. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like the Darwin Nunes thing. Like Darwin Nunes likes to score goals the hard way. He doesn't like to score easy
ah,
goals. Everyone goals, it's always like an impossible one
yeah.
to score, and those are he likes
He
to get
doesn't
done.
like tapping.
Sort of like exactly, sort of like with De Gea, yeah, this annoying thing of like you could just tap in a ball and you'll just do that. You know what I mean? But the goal that you don't expect him to say, fam. You just like,
In
yo,
your mind,
yo,
you think,
yo,
I've just hit a banger. Then David Ayes.
yeah, yeah,
And then the
fam,
one where it's
fam.
just simple. David, catch it, David.
It's like, oh,
Just
dude,
you just do that.
dude, just like,
Ah,
just like, yeah, you do that cat thing, like, nah, it wasn't challenging enough. You know what I mean? It's like he wants the challenging
yeah,
ones. But yeah, man, Dave was insane. You know, he's insane. I'm actually very sad. I think I'm more sad that he hasn't yet found a club
man,
because
really
I
upsetting.
want to see him play. I don't want this to be the end of his footballing career.
Exactly.
I still want to see more of Dave for the next decade because you know goalkeepers don't, you know, their lifespan in football is way longer than the average
Yeah,
player, and obviously that's because they're not active as much as outfield players. They just stand in the
yeah.
goalpost. So you know their bodies last tend to be more, you know,
In shape, or they're still good.
in
Yeah,
shape, yeah, it's more
yeah.
durable, it good in shape for years to come because you know they haven't spent a whole decade, you
Getting
know, just
bashed.
putting it under intense
Yeah.
pressure. Exactly, you check what I mean. So they've got more longevity. That's what I was looking
Mm.
for. Yeah, they've got more longevity in the game than the outfield players. So yeah, man, I'd really love to see the yes continue to play. But Andre Onana, I don't know if there's anything you would want to say about him.
Now, I mean, with Andre Onana also, it's like we said, like we are giving him props for what he has done thus far. You know, like we are happy
Yeah,
for him because it was difficult, and it's not easy.
yeah,
That number one position at United is not for the faint-hearted. It's
yeah,
not for babies. And this is an expression that I like to use. It's not milk. You know, milk is easy. You know,
yeah,
it's not milk. You know what I mean? So do, it
yeah,
was always going to be difficult. I mean, man, I was worried because the gaffer is going to
yeah,
die by his sword. But I'm happy to see that
yeah.
Onana is really getting, and big ups to the rest of the team. Because he did mention, I read
True.
somewhere, he mentioned. Wait, let
Mm,
me even see if I can find it because I, I thought it was very nice what he said about his teammates, and
yeah,
I thought, you know what, this 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 is good. This makes sense.
yeah.
I hear you, dog. I hear you. But basically, he was saying
Mm,
like his first time here was difficult, but he never felt like
okay.
he still had a smile on his face. It wasn't one of those situations that,
Yeah,
regardless of um, the battering that we're receiving and what, like he never found himself in a dark place, basically. And that is
yeah,
thanks to
yeah,
the players. He's like, man, they really helped him, and he says he's always been happy.
yeah,
So I'm assuming also the
yeah,
excitement of
yeah,
being at United, because man, this is prestige. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah,
think the
yeah.
excitement of him being here, he's like, you know what, and he just got down. He's working. He's
Yeah,
working really. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
he's just
yeah, yeah,
he's grinding, and I'm happy with it. What I have already
yeah.
put in my heart is like
Okay.
I know Onana is going to concede goals. I've accepted that.
Yeah,
Let
yeah,
David away.
yeah. I, th-
If you don't
I think
accept
once you
that,
accept it, it's easy
easy,
moving forward
yeah,
with yeah,
easy. If you
yeah,
don't,
yeah.
or
It puts you at
yeah,
ease. Yeah,
if you accept that there's always going to be, like Pickford. There's always a mistake in it.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So with
yeah, yeah,
Onana,
yeah, yeah,
just put it in your mind that he
yeah.
will concede goals, but he will deliver. Because
Exactly.
even right now, and I know
Yes.
Allison
Mm,
is injured, he's been out, but Onana has more clean sheets than Allison.
mm,
Believe it.
yeah.
How?
Wow.
How?
Wow.
Explain. Make
Yeah,
that
yeah,
make
yeah,
sense. Liverpool are above us,
yeah, yeah.
and he just got
And yet
recent.
you
He got
we
injured recently. I mean, not recently, maybe a month
yeah,
or two ago.
yeah, yeah,
How? So
yeah,
it's just positive vibes. I'm happy. I'm happy.
yeah,
Until he
yeah,
pisses me off.
yeah,
And obviously, if he concedes stupid goals, I will come on here and I'll
yeah,
let him have it. I'll be like,
yeah. No, of
uh-uh.
course.
Don't make
Yeah.
me speak
Mm.
highly of you just for you to put me back in my place.
And
Uh,
then
you know. So
yeah,
yeah, man, that's all I have
nah,
to
I
say
hear you.
for Nana. So expect
All
that there are
right.
goals that he will concede
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and he will be good.
Exactly. and everything will be gravy. David, we knew his board distro was pap, so we never expected anything from that. So, with Onana, just expect that goals are gonna be conceded, but his distro
And,
is mint.
and
You know what I
last
mean?
season, David De
Mm,
Gea's distribution
yeah,
was it improved. Like I
yeah,
think it
yeah,
improved
yeah,
the best
yeah.
thing
It
I've seen
improved. It
in a while,
improved,
but
but
too
yeah,
little,
it's,
too
it's not
late.
it's not Onana type distro. It's not Onana type distro. Onana distro is that thing is mafia, man. It's proper. You know.
Yeah.